Hi everyone, hope you're all well. Just thought I'd give you another update, a little quick video blog of where we're up to. As you've probably seen from the communication from the club, for this week and last week we had to furlough 4 members of staff, so there's been just 3 of us maintaining the course, which has been hard work. I'm not going to complain, because I know there's people in a lot worse situations than I am, but it has been difficult, but it's been good. The weather's been fantastic, which has been a big help. Very dry. I think looking at the stats, we have only had 4 mil of rain in the last 5 weeks, and compared to the previous 4 weeks to that, we had 268. I think it is on my weather stats. So huge contrast. It's dried out drastically, and we're actually now heading towards drought conditions, and we're on a similar path to we were in 2018. So with that in mind, we've managed to do quite a lot of mole plough drainage work. So you'll remember the drainage work we did up on 25 that actually cracked open and caused a few issues for a few weeks. The positive effect of that now is that's through this winter especially was one of our driest fairways, and it's similar to what the work we did on 14. So we've been doing that down on the 8th and the 2nd, the 5th and the 3rd, some of the wetter areas, and they've cracked open really well over the last week and created some real good fissures in the ground and in the clay, which will stand us in great stead this winter and going forward. So that's been cool. The lads that have stayed on have been absolutely fantastic. I've got my 2 deputies working with us, and the amount of work that the 3 of us have got through in the last 2 weeks is superb. Those members who I've seen out on the course walking have all sent some nice comments in, and the course is in real good condition, and we're on a good path for when people return. I've done a few videos of just a few little bits out on the course, which will be following on from this. Again, if anyone's got any questions or any things they want me to look at, please feel free. Thanks for all of the well wishes from members emailing in from the last blog. Thanks for everybody who's wishing me well about my wedding. People might not realise I was supposed to get married 3 weeks ago, but unfortunately we had to postpone. So the good news is it's later on in the year, so fingers crossed that can go ahead. And apart from that, just been really busy here, really working as many hours as I can to try and keep on top of things. So like I say, hope everybody's well, and I'll catch up with you all soon.
I'm just down on the 6th hole, where we have our very famous 2 sweet chestnut trees. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, we've had these officially aged, and that one in the corner there was last year 468 years old, I believe, and this one was just slightly behind him at 400 years old, which is fantastic. So I'm actually down here because I am reseeding our wildflower plots this morning. So this area, as we know, has been a great success, but this year we have treated it with a herbicide, and it's just to try and stop some of the thistle that takes over in the balsam. It's been rotivated again, and I'm now currently just adding the seed to it. And the way we do that is the seed we use it's a range called Colour Splash, and it's picked in from the south of France. So what I do is I mix this 1 part seed and 3 parts kiln dried sand. And what the sand does is just acts as a bit of a carrier, which is easier to spread. So here we are on the 5th tee, and this is a hole I wanted to speak to you about, because I think it's a very underrated hole on the golf course, but it has its faults. So for me, from the back tee, which is a great tee shot, you cannot see the fairway. It's very blind. So one thing I've wanted to do here for a while is the natural thing to do would be to raise the tee. However, because it's already quite high and it's quite a long tee shot, what I want to do is, as you come to the front of the tee, and you'll see that the hole starts to open out, I actually want to drop the front of the tee, and in this greenkeeper track that we put in a couple of years ago, I want to actually build 3 or 4 platform tees into this banking, staggered going down the hill. A little bit like what we did with the new top tee on 18. It wouldn't be too difficult to do, and it would make this area a lot better, and also making this hole a lot better as well. So here we are, and you can just see that we're starting to get the carries and the semi-rough cut and striped in. Another beautiful day up here today. So as you can see, I'm on the 4th tee, and just look how good that vista looks now with all the tree work. It's so clean. And one thing I've noticed this week is how many trees have blossomed around the course. I've never seen it like this before, and a lot of that is because of the work we've done, and the trees are now flourishing. They've got enough room to do what they need to do to remain healthy. So there we go. What's also interesting is looking back at the tree work we did only a few years ago. The plantation at the back of the 4th, which leads into the 12th, which now, you know, looks like it needs some work doing again. It still looks a bit overcrowded. We actually took 60 trees out of this plantation here. So there you go. So at the back of the 3rd green, just looking down onto the fairway, and Adam's down there cutting the rough. One good thing about this period is we've managed to do a lot of reshaping work on the fairways and the semi-rough, so you know, over time things come a little bit out of sync, so we've managed to put some stuff back. And again, we've removed some trees this winter up by the 3rd green, and what it does is it really highlights the width of the green surround and the contours. We're blessed at Moor Allerton, we've got really big greens, really big green surrounds, and some of the trees that are close by just hinder the view and the playability of it. So here we are on the, just walking through to the 21st green, and Andy's out this morning spraying a holding wetting agent on the greens. Interesting time. We've gone from having the worst winter that we've had for a long time to a spring that at the minute is turning out to be a little bit like the drought period of 2018. And just to put that into context, we've had 4 mil of rain in the last 5 weeks, and in the 4 previous weeks before that we had 267. So it's dried out really quickly, really nicely. And what this wetting agent does is it just helps us hold a little bit of water in the profile. Our greens, as you know, they drain really well now. USGA spec, all the work we've done over the last 3 years, they're really draining well. So it's a bit of reverse, holding water is a bit difficult. So that will, it's a surfactant technology which just retains moisture better and helps us water a bit more evenly. This is just looking back down the 21st. Everything's cut and shaped up, looking really tidy. The lads have been absolutely superb this week. So I'm up here on the 14th, and I'm just following Andy around washing in the wetting agent that we're applying to the greens today. We've not pushed the greens too hard, obviously, with them not having any play. They've recovered really well from renovations, and we're in a really good place that if we get the nod to reopen, you know, within 3 or 4 days, I can get them totally back up to speed. It's been great for me over the last couple of weeks to really get sort of back on the tools, as you would sort of say in the trade, and I'm out on the course and doing things I've probably not done for a while, with having other things to do as part of my job. And it's given me a good chance to look at the way we do a lot of our cutting and the way some of the holes play. So one of the changes you'll see is on 14. What we've done is, and this is mainly to do with the new tee work, but we're changing the line of the hole. We're really pushing the fairway right out to the left to bring the ditches and the hazards into play, reducing the amount of rough on this hole, so it'll just be pretty much fairway and semi-rough, but using the contours properly to make use of the hazards. So just looking back towards the 11th tee block. Now this is a tee area, as you know, that We struggle to do much with it. It gets a bit tatty down that side once it's overgrown and the path's not great. So what we did this winter was we ripped the dogwood out that was on the inside of the path, and what I did yesterday was we rotivated that up, and that has now been planted as a new wildflower plot in 2 little blocks. So this gets direct sunlight most of the day, so that hopefully should work really well. We've reshaped the T-banking, and it's just these little things that we're trying to improve, so just improve the aesthetics around the course as well. So just up at the little practice area that we're trying to bring on now and improve, and what you may have noticed is we've added a couple more of the AstroTurf islands, little spots around so you can chip onto the chipping green. We've also improved and done quite a bit of work to create like an approach to a hole on here, so it's nice tight cut all the way around with a little bit of semi-rough around it as well. And we've also got the new warm-up nets, which the lads put in, did a really good job of that. So this area is really starting to come on now. The practice bunker's there, and it's a really nice little area to be able to practice from. So I just stood on the first tee. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the new grass paths that we put in last year on most of the holes, and what we've done over the last couple of weeks is we've now got these on every single hole. So what it does is also it gives it stands the definition out, it gives direction for the hole, but it also reduces the amount of cutting that we need to do as well. So it highlights the carry, but it allows us to bring the rough in on either side, which shouldn't really affect too many people. And then you've got the same here on the 10th hole at the other side. The rough height at the minute is down to 2 inches, and that's where it'll be staying for the season, so a little bit lower than last year. A few people would be happy to know. And I've also increased a lot of our semi-rough areas, so you might be able to see just down near the 10th there where we've taken the semi-rough in and around the bunkers, which will speed up play but also bring the bunkers into play a little bit more. And on the back of that, we're going to try, especially at this point where I've got limited staff and the grass is starting to grow, we're going to look at bringing some long rough into areas that are really out of play and really try and reduce some of that cutting time. It'll also highlight the holes a lot better as well.